like golden age of like Dungeons and Dragons TSR
Oh
back in
yeah.
the day in the 70s. He's the guy that came up with thieves. Like
Oh.
he wrote the whole thief class and everything. And I asked him specifically, I said, "Did you get the idea for Thieves Guilds and Thieves Can't from Fritz Lieber?" And he straight up said, "Yep." I
Yeah.
was like, "I do it.
Huh.
I do it."
Yeah. I'm trying to find. Oh
What's
yeah.
a good starting book in that series? The first one?
And it has a chronology. Yeah, the first one. Um, I kind of felt like it took a little minute for it to get into the classic Lankmar like city urban adventures. It takes a minute for it to get going, but once it gets going, you're there.
Is this the Swords and Deviltry?
That sounds right.
Yeah. I'm looking on Amazon
He
for.
also has really good science fiction too, but those stories will always like inhabit a special time in my life of Fritz Lieber stuff. It's just such classic
Well, it's
sword and
funny
sorcery.
in Lynn Carter's in this book in Lynn Carter he does a quick 3 page summary of the different authors because there's three of these little collections from the a total of 8 different people that were members of the Swordsman and Sorceress Guild of America. So obviously it was relatively short lived, but he actually talks about Fritz Lieber and in his forward talking about how Fritz Lieber's science fiction stuff is actually easily on par with any other science fiction writer of the day, but it's
For
obvious
sure.
his true love was in the sword and sorcery genre.
Yeah, he has a lot of interesting, weird ideas
Well, yeah, and if you read this
that are
one,
fun to read about.
well, this story, I don't know if you've ever read this one that's in this book. It's called The Sadness of the Executioner.
No, nope, that's a new one for me.
So the main character in the story is actually Death,
Hmm,
and Death has to
cool.
collect. Um, he has to collect 196 um, souls, and he has 20 heartbeats to do it in. And because the job of Death is relatively mundane and boring, he tries to come up with the most creative and interesting ways to do it. And it's funny. It's just really funny. The whole story had me smiling and sometimes just actually laughing out loud as I went through it. Um, it just and there was a beautiful shout out. Where was it? Let me find it. It's here somewhere. Yet, without exception, every pawn must eventually be snapped up and tossed in a box in the course of the greatest game, even if it has advanced to the ultimate rank and become king or queen. So Death reminded himself, here it is, who knew that even he himself must ultimately die. Hey, I mean, it's just, I mean, that's just a straight up shout out to Lovecraft. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
I mean,
know,
that's cool.
just fantasy has lost something. I'm sorry. Modern fantasy just doesn't read the way these guys wrote back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and it all started from Robert Howard. Almost all these guys that I love to read, they point to Howard as their inspiration. So,
All right. Well, I've got my reading ideas for the next 6 months.
oh yeah, you can keep yourself you'll keep yourself busy. A couple other things I picked up at Second Charles. I picked up an August Derleth tome about the Cthulhu mythos. It's obviously a reprint because man man's been dead for who knows how long, but anyway, I'm excited. Oh right,
Hey, before we jump in,
yeah.
just a heads up. I will be gone on Thursday, the 2nd of May, 2 weeks out.
Mm.
I have a work training that day. So I just wanted to make you aware.
Okay, yeah, and while we're talking about that, I'm in the same boat next week, unfortunately, the 25th.
Okay.
One of my loyal underlings is on vacation, and I have to cover his part of the department, which means I have to work that Thursday. Um, so I'm going to be unable to play. So I guess after today, we're looking at the ninth. It sounds like.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to hold everybody up if you guys want to play on the second, but uh, up to you.
Yeah, it's. I think we're in a pretty good groove here as a team.
Okay.
That's my opinion, anyway. Oh, and
Same.
Marty, you'll be receiving something in the mail today. It looks like it's out for delivery.
Oh boy, I'm 90% terrified and 10% excited,
Yeah, try not to chant too much when you're opening
or maybe I'm
Make sure
90% excited and 10% terrified.
make sure you get the protective circle down on the floor before you open it.
it.
Got
Right.
it.
Stand well within it and don't break the outer perimeter.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
You'll be fine. You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Kosher salt only. No,
Kosher salt only.
none of that iodized shit.
What's the worst that could happen?
I mean,
Oh, there. And speaking of a movie, that just reminded me. When I had COVID, I watched a lot of the backlog of the horror movies I wanted to catch up on, and there is one called A Dark Song, and it's a little indie movie, but it's so well produced, and it is. I cannot imagine a better movie that documents a cult ritual. Kind of in the old way of like you used to hear like Crowley and all that stuff.
yeah.
And but it's in modern day, and just I mean I was blown away, and I actually mentioned it on the horror Reddit site. That I watched it and how good it was. A bunch of people jumped in, and one of the guys who worked on the production jumped in and was like, "Oh my God, it's so great that somebody saw this movie. We worked so hard on it." It's really good. So if you ever catch it, I don't know what service I watched it on, but it's called A Dark Song.
I'll look into it. I'm so far
A
behind
dark
on my
sun.
movie.
I believe it's a dark song. I have
A
to let me
Dark
double.
Song.
Song.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Song.
it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
From
yeah,
2016. IMDb
yeah.
rates it a 6.2 out of 10, which for an indie movie is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, if you like slow burn and like keep trying guessing, like, is this really real or not? You'll be very satisfied. It's like it gets uncomfortable at certain places, but it's supposed to be.
Well, I mean,
But
uh,
there's lots of circle drawing on floors.
that's horror for you though. If it doesn't make you
That's how you know
Yeah,
it's
uncomfortable, it's
real.
doing something wrong. Um,
yeah.
so I mean, tell you as much Lovecraft as I've read, I'll tell you the Richard Stanley adaptation of A Color Out of Space, as it moved into the third act, that was getting uncomfortable.
Oh, the Nicolas Cage one.
Yeah,
Oh, I love that movie. God, oh yeah,
it
that
was
just
it
like
was done so
wow.
well.
Yeah,
And it's almost like Richard Stanley told Nicolas Cage, "Look, I know you're insane. Just be you. It's fine.
yeah,
Just ramp it up as we go."
yeah. That was a really good movie.
All right, let's get to it here. Um, so last week, you guys you guys made a lot of headway. Um, I
Thanks a bunch to Walter.
yeah, well, you guys, gosh, you guys left the shop and started investigating the talking statues, and you found a clue at one of them and you found an oak leaf in the water at the fountain surrounding Marforio, right in Mussolini's palace courtyard, and you leaving that checked out the message, and the message was was inscribed, the message inscribed on the oak leaf said, what did it say? Do you have that on here on the story so far, Slim?
I believe what the
What the message on the oak leaf said?
yes, I do. It should be in there.
Yeah, do.
It said, "What lies behind the
Yep,
truth
Yep,
the
that
truth that bites.
bites."
there
Yep.
we go.
And there was a crude rendering of a man with a beard and kind of wild hair. Uh, you guys determined that to be the mouth of truth, the Bocca dea Verita, which is in a church. You guys tracked that down and discovered that the mask itself really has nothing behind it except a wall. So you went inside the church, dug around, and that's when you found the message that is actually probably still on the screen. So you guys talked a bit about that. You came to a couple conclusions that the C Sant apostrophe A, the C Sant A is probably the Castella de Sant. Shit, I'm having one of those moments. Bear with me. But it's a castle nearby which has had a lot of across the river. That's had a lot of construction going on. It looks like Mussolini is building some sort of massive highway between that castle and the and St. Peter's Basilica. Um, you're theorizing that P is one of your two contacts, Pasquino, and the Regina Coeli, I'm not sure how that's pronounced, is was a prison, I believe, is what you guys determined. So she mentioned the Tiber Island Hospital, which is actually right nearby. That's kind of where we left off. You guys were hanging out by the river, and you can see the island, Tiber Island, um, uh, in the distance. It's not a very large island, but it does have a hospital on it. And yeah, that's where we're at. And I think you guys were trying to determine what your next step was.
Were we on our way back to the safe house, right?
No,
Weren't we
we
gonna?
we had stopped. We were trying to decide.
That's right. We stopped and okay, right. Um,
Uh, you well,
Go ahead.
Walter's Walter's pretty worn out, right?
No, I think
Oh,
I'm
he's okay.
okay. I'm okay, but I thought maybe we were gonna try to remote view on this thing too. Was that correct?
Hmm.
Back at the safe house, I
Yeah, I
think.
think Walter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't really get beat up last time you were back.
Oh,
No, not bad. Just a little bit of, yeah, I rolled pretty well. So I think that was and it was, yeah, I think we were going to try to take a look at and see what we could see about the history of this thing, of the note, right?
yeah. Because hopefully, if it was written, if it was written by, well, hopefully you can see who it was written by, and if it was written by our Lucretia, our contact, then we'd know what she looks like. Because right now we don't know what anyone looks like.
Right, right. So yeah, I think that's where we were
Which could
headed,
be handy.
and I think I was going to pick up Luca also, her dog.
Oh,
Um,
that's right, you were.
yeah, so I think that was the plan. So anybody remember differently?
I see at the end of this, my notes here, the agents returned to the safe house. So,
That's what it is then. Okay,
Okay.
so let's drive on with that then. I'm gonna take a look at this note and it'll probably wreck me, but give us a little information.
All right. Well,
Is
I'll.
that doghouse trained? We're not coming back to a mess, are we?
we're going to lose our deposit.
Yeah.
You go first.
So calling it scene end, you guys have three momentum. It'll be use it or lose it after this. So
Right. So yeah, we need a three momentum to do the history anyway.
that's right. That's right. That's right. You do.
I
So
think we saved it just for that.
we saved it just for that.
All right. So I might do my Johnny Carson thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you already you switching me to no, there it is. Spells.
Oh, so I don't know. I'm not doing anything.
Oh, it switched automatically. Oh, my computer's listening to me. Okay, so here we go. Click the dice next to power, right?
Yep.
And
Oh no, not
some.
next to power. The one next to the spell name.
Oh, that's right. Okay, there we go. What does that one do? The power one?
I have no idea.
Huh. Okay.
I
All
bet it
right.
just rolls damage dice equal to the
It's a
power. I don't know.
mystery.
Let's see. I'm gonna click it.
Yeah,
Dice three. Submit. Yeah, it just rolls damage dice equal to the power. That's
got
all.
it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so input value two for two dice. Focus. Since it's sight, I would say yes, right?
Yeah.
And difficulty two.
Ooh. Boom. 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 Boom.
Yes. And a complication.
Ooh. And a
Man,
complication.
and we were doing
Um.
solo.
All right. So here's what I'm gonna do on your complication.
Hmm.
Um. What's the cost on that spell? Is it two?
I believe so. Difficulty to cost two, yes.
All right, so instead of adding more threat due to your complication, I'm just going to throw it onto your damage dice. So on
Okay.
damage dice roll, that little damage dice tab at the top right, I think it is. Just
Mm,
put in four instead of two.
God damn, we got nothing.
Oh well, no effects. So you took three stress,
All right.
and you have courage, do you not?
I do.
All right. So what's your courage? One.
One, yeah.
Yeah. So you take two stress damage.
Okay. So now I'm up to four.
Yeah.
Okay. But no injuries, so
No
that's good.
injuries, no drain, no nothing. Yeah. You just a short rest will relieve all that.
All right. Sorry, fellas. I'm just not seeing anything here. Besides, despite the headache.
You guys
I
ever
just
notice
have.
how the first roll or two always goes badly?
I know. I know.
That's funny. It's probably better than the last roll going badly.
Yeah.
So,
It's probably true. All right, so I guess I can tag along, but because I'm not drained, so but I have nothing. So that's the end of the scene and wah wah.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, if you guys wanna give it a few minutes, let me pull the rules on that because regaining stress. This is another one of those things that we haven't really had to deal with that much because usually you guys have just had stress to regain overnight, so a good night's sleep knocks that out. But in terms of, let's see here. Oh, by the way, I finally found it. For picking locks, it is coordination with engineering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we've been doing.
That's what we've been doing because we just all kind of kept looking at it going with a mechanical engineering focus. We all kept looking at it going, well, I think that's the best thing to use. I actually finally found it. It's not in the player's guide or the GM's guide. It's actually in one of my I've actually found it in one of the campaign books just by luck. I was just perusing it and said, "Oh shit. Well, look at that."
Oh, you're
Um,
just perusing it in your spare time?
yes. All the spare time I have. Let's see here.
Well, while you go ahead and look that up, guys, while he's looking that up, let's just simply discuss. We've got bodies at the hospital, bodies of whatever. We got bodies at the hospital that someone thought from this site they're excavating. We know that there are archaeologists involved, so and our friends the Wolf Noctwolf are involved. So and then the road crew is from that um, the road crew's from the prison, so our guy is on the road crew that's working this, and it says we said Castel Sant'Angelo road crew.
Thank you, Sant'Angelo. Thank you very much.
Yeah, road crew. And I think we heard that. Um, I think we were told last time that when we were walking near there on our way to do our other stuff, you could see that there were roads blocked off around the Castel, right?
Right.
So we know the road crew's over there someplace, which there's the reference. So those are obvious clues to start checking out.
Okay. What time of day is it? Is it afternoon?
Yeah, it's late afternoon.
Just keep in mind that we're treading very carefully here because we don't want to blow anybody's cover. That might be an ally.
Correct.
Hmm.
They've got at least two people on the inside, it sounds like. One that they mentioned and one that we can deduce.
Well, how about I mean, I don't know if before we try to do anything with this information, do we want to just stake out the area, the prison, and take a look and who's coming and going? Because I'm assuming that the roadwork crew is going back to the prison after a day of work, right?
That would make sense to me.
Yeah, they're not working on roads inside the prison, so we got the prison. So, what does that area look like? I mean, does it have taller buildings around there? Does it have any kind of park we can loiter in?
Well,
Do we
let's
know?
pull up a map. Let's see.
Because we got to get the rhythm down for if we're going to try to make contact with anybody without blowing their cover. We got to figure out what might be an opportunity, right? So perhaps as they're exiting or entering the prison, or maybe wherever they're at, there's a way to. If that's what we're trying to do, is that right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. We want. Yeah. We. It makes sense that we want to check out the road crew because one or more of our guys are on it. You know, the guy we know, Pascal is on it, and maybe
Pasquino.
I mean Pasquino is on it, and there might be somebody else either on it or knows about it or watching it. And then we want to try and get some eyes, if possible, on what is the road crew excavating. I'm assuming since we're talking about archaeologists and bodies, they're and these guys are a road crew that someone's digging a hole someplace. So we want to try and eyeball that and get some feeling for what might be going on before we go to the hospital and try and look at the bodies. And then the issue with that is um, none of us speak fluent Italian and none of us look Italian. So we could have we could have done some kind of ruse to get into a hospital in Vienna by looking and sounding German with some authority. That's not going to work here, I don't think. Um, I don't know how much sway the Germans have in Italy at this point, because technically, Italy's not at war with anyone except some crap they got going on in North Africa at this point, I think.
Well, should you require distraction to get into the hospital, that can be arranged. I picked up a few phrases in that there guidebook, sir.
I bet you did.
Any of them you can speak in polite company? Oh, guidebook. Yeah, I guess so.
Again,
But
the
I do.
guy in the background pipes up. I don't speak Italian. Like I said, third best. Sorry, I keep coming back to that scene. It's one of my favorite scenes ever.
Amazing. Well, I can get behind this reconnaissance mission. I think that sounds like a lick of fun. Plus, I can
Hachi.
be scarce as hen's teeth.
By the
Well,
way, the,
go.
the the rule on stress is that when a scene ends and the next scene starts, all stress goes away. Now,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, injuries do not. Obviously, that's a whole different ball game. But actual stress damage just clears up. So,
all right.
like a bad case of acne.
I will get rid of that then. Nice. So, since it's the end of the day, is it, or it's afternoon, it may not be the end of the day. You think it's before quitting time on this road cruise? Should we go take a stroll?
I think if we could find some, yeah, I think we should use the available daylight. To, we're just stupid tourists, Ossifer.
Yeah, I mean, just to get a view, and we might be lucky and might, get out there and like, oh, there they are. They're walking back to the, you know, the
yeah, I
the
mean
prison.
the road work is between the Castel Sant'Angelo and St. Peter's Basilica. It's pretty well known that Mussolini's trying to build a grand highway between the two. Um, the So give or take, the road work is almost due east of you, half a kilometer, maybe a little more.
Oh
So
God,
it's
it's
it's not that far.
nearby. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's. I'm I'm up for a stroll. Find my dark sunglasses and harness up Luca, and we can take off and take a look around. I'll need somebody with me to guide me.
Are we all going?
I don't know.
Why not? Well, but how are we
Yeah,
gonna? Do we necessarily want to?
just a happy family out for a stroll.
I mean, I could go with Slim or um, you know, a Sikh and a blind Polish guy walking into a bar.
Yeah.
You kidding me? I've been waiting to walk this dog for like 3 days.
Well, I'll have to be walking
Is
it,
that a
but
euphemism?
yeah.
Does sound like a euphemism.
Wait till I talk about my monkey.
Oh boy.
All right, so is that what we're doing? I mean, I we could probably just go by pairs, so that's not just a gaggle of us. If we want to do, you know, maybe Slim and me and Con and Henry going into two different pairs, just kind of a little staggered, whatever looks less weird.
Um, yeah, why not? We have been about as a group, so if anyone even had a chance to notice us before, they would know that we're generally together. Um, um, so I don't see that there's a necessarily a problem, but if
We
we
could
st-
Slim and I could station ourselves closer to where the prison is, and if you guys wanted to go where the location of the road work would be, that would might make sense.
I'm trying to find.
The prison is about 2 kilometers south southeast of you guys on the western bank of the Tiber.
Okay, so we probably want to just head out over there, and in a little bit, you guys can go look for the road crew. Bueller.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Yep.
All
I'm
right.
I'm trying to. Oh, there it is. Okay, so yeah. So the prison. I'm looking at a map. The prison. I'm assuming this little map on the guidebook may not show the prison, but we know generally where it is. Yeah, the prison's not terribly far from Castel San Angelo. So we got to hike just to get to that area, and then after that, but we don't have to go together. But I agree. So who's gonna check out the prison, and who's gonna check out the work near the Castel?
Well,
I'm
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I think Pilecki wanted to head towards the prison, if I heard him correctly.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, we could do
I
that.
heard.
Yeah,
All
me
right.
and Slim can go over there.
Okay.
So Singh and I are heading towards the Castel.
So as you leave, as you leave your safe house right near Vatican City, there's a wide street that is known as, oh boy, uh, uh, and go figure. Now, of course, I've lost the stupid name of it. It was Via Dea Conciliazione or something along those lines. Um, it's a wide city street that you can pretty much look all the way down due east, straight to the castle, except it's all blocked off. It's all blocked off with things that you would expect to be blocked off for road work. The buildings in this part of Rome are old, and when I say old, I don't mean like 7 centuries old. They're relatively recent construction in terms of the age of Rome, but they're probably 19th century old. And while you don't speak Italian, you know enough signs to look around to see that it looks like a lot of these buildings are scheduled for demolition. But you can't access the street. It's because again, it's all blocked off. You can see about a half kilometer away that there is some sort of work site, and then beyond that, maybe a quarter to a half kilometer beyond that is the castle. So how would you two like to go about this? This is Singh and Baker doing the work site, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So looking at my map, um, basically we've got St. Peter's at one end and the castle at the other end.
Correct. And the dig site is on the castle side, relatively close to the castle.
Relatively close, and the road is blocked off. And I'm assuming, looking at my little map, I'm assuming that that means the side streets that empty on the road are blocked at that point as well.
Correct.
And if we look over the barricades, can we? How high the barricades blocking off the street? How tall are they?
The main barricades blocking off the street are not very. They're a few foot tall mix of like wooden barricades and maybe some concrete.
Yeah.
Nothing really major. Nothing you couldn't easily get over. I mean, obviously, it's a road work site, so the security's not exactly really high. Um, Now, the alleys, I'll give you this. The alleys that are kind of in between some of the buildings that connect to the road are blocked off with much higher fencing.
Okay. If we look over the barricade, I'll pull up my street view here. If we look over the barricade um, towards the castle, just stick our head over and peer down the road.
Hmm.
How far can we see? I mean, is there a point where there are much taller barricades down near the castle?
Um, at this point, I'm going to make you make an inside observation test
Okay, well, let me switch windows here.
with sight as a focus if you have it.
Okay, can you see that
Oh, yeah,
result?
yeah, okay, perfect. Sorry. Normally there's a little sound effect when someone rolls, and I didn't hear it.
Well, mine, I heard it, but yeah.
So not far beyond the castle grounds, because the castle's kind of mounted up on a hill, which is very green and well manicured with lots of shrubbery to make a nice two-layered effect and a path in between. Oh, sorry. The
Shrubbery. All the jokes.
Yeah, sorry. Not far from the end of the castle grounds, you can see the work site. Obviously, the whole road has been cordoned off to be a work site at some point. Like I said, you recognize when buildings are marked for demolition. But the work site that the where the actual work is happening, the actual work site, it's not like any work site you've ever seen. From the standpoint that taking up almost the entire road at the end of the road where it kind of reaches the castle, there's a 10-foot tall chain link fence wrapping the work site. There's several buildings inside. It's about all you can tell at this distance.
Could I use always watching to see if we're being followed or observed by
Sure,
security
sure,
or
absolutely.
spies?
Oh well, look at that.
Bonus.
Yeah. There are there are a few people around. It looks like there's a couple just general police, just some Roman cops hanging around the area in general, but no one that's really paying any particular attention to you. Not a lot of security, and no one's really. I mean, let's be blunt. You're kind of near the edge of Vatican City, so there's a lot of different people around, even in the late afternoon. So no one that's really paying you any particular mind.
Henry, it seems that we're not being observed if you wish to approach the site.
Yes, I was wondering if there.
Now, I'm going to say this. From now on in the future, every time you guys ask, can I? I'm going to go, you can certainly try.
Yeah, yeah. I I try and speak a little more direct than that. Um, if I ask can I'm asking about game mechanics.
I get it.
All right. If otherwise, I'm just going to say I'm going to do this or that.
I know.
Um, so so what I'm looking for is, by all appearances, we're tourists, and I'm looking for uh, maybe a tourist attraction that something that a visitor to Rome would consider to be interesting, so that we could maybe move along or pass some barricades. And if we get stopped, we can just play the tourist card, as it were.
Yes, we saw a beautiful castle that we wanted to look at up close. Oh, the chain link fence? We didn't see that. Sorry.
All right, so this is all right. I've been cheating a little bit. I've been looking at the actual one in Rome today on Google Maps, but this is one big. When you said big street, you were not kidding.
No, no, it's yeah.
This thing is huge. So maybe what maybe what we have to do, if the street is blocked off, maybe what we have to do is go to an adjacent street and walk towards the castle a ways, and then circle back towards the barricades. Because the street, you said there were barricades all along the street,
Right.
relatively low ones, but also some
Yeah, the
high places.
barricades on the intersecting side streets are much like the barricade here at the end of the street, in that they're a few foot tall. They're just clearly there to make clear
Right.
that people understand that there's something going on here. They shouldn't be here. So, and the street itself, the street itself is vacant. Now, there are some alleys that, not actual streets between some of the buildings that connect to this via, and those have taller barricades, like they've been blocked off higher, to help prevent anyone from bypassing the obvious barricades, if that
Right.
makes sense.
I understood. But what I heard was there was a tall chain link fence
Correct.
as you got to the castle. Well, last time I checked, you can look through a chain link fence.
It's a true statement.
So how about we make our way toward the castle on one of the other streets that runs parallel, and try and get a closer look. See if we can look through the fence and see what's going on. What do you think? Because we can't walk down the street. It's a long, long, big street, and if we walk down the street, we'll get somebody's attention long before we get towards the castle.
Works for me, bro.
Okay,
Do it.
so that's what we're gonna do. Let's see. There's some looking at the tourist map. There's just some simple. I mean, there's some big streets.
Yeah.
Um, so how about we just we go south to that major street that's south of it,
Yep. Yep.
Borgo Santo Spirito, and we move east towards the castle so that we can and how far down do you think the tall chain link fence was? Is it
Oh, it's a good half kilometer away. It's really at the because you can see plainly down the street. Like you said,
right?
like you noted, it's a big road. It is a like I said, from this distance, it looks like a work site surrounded by a 10-foot tall chain link fence. It is right at the edge of where the road opens up to meet the castle.
Oh, okay, because there's a road that runs north south right along the edge of the castle grounds.
Right.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna make our way. We're gonna make our way towards that spot to try and get as close as we can to the tall chain link fence so we can look through.
All right. All right. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do.
And Con, if anyone stops us and asks us questions, we just we just say again we were trying to see the castle. We heard it was very interesting. We're just tourists.
I like this.
All right. All right. So you guys, like you said, you go south to that next street, and then you make your way up. That street, uh, actually exits on a road that's that borders the Tiber River. It kind of just comes together right in this one spot where you've got the edge of the
Yep.
Tiber, you've got the castle just a few hundred meters away, uh, and as you guys come up there to it, let's see here. What happened? Why didn't it do anything? There it goes. As you guys are approaching, you see again you see this 10 or 12 foot tall chain link fence. Obvious details, like you said, you can see through it. There are multiple buildings inside. The place is let's see here. It's about 30 meters by 30 meters, give or take, and it doesn't look like a work site that you've really ever seen. There is like I said, there's several buildings inside. There is a big heap of garbage at one end, or on one side next to a boarded up building. It's kind of crammed in between a couple boarded up buildings, and it has an entrance on the castle side, with that's gated. And when I say gated, I mean it's the chain link fence ends at two wooden towers with a double wooden gate, and at the top of each tower are soldiers, and there's multiple soldiers uh, within the chain link fence, and there's actually a couple that are walking around.
Suddenly, this might be more of a nocturnal mission.
Uh, Obviously, can we? Is there any way to walk? Yeah, I know where we are right there by the Tiber. Can we walk north on that road that skirts the grounds, or is that all fenced off too?
No, it's fenced off.
Um, Boy, not sure we're going to get to see much more. Um, Looking at my character sheet, see if I got anything going on that would help us. Uh, all right. I got nothing for the current situation. What about you, Con? Um, I hate to just quit, but it looks like this place is crawling with soldiers.
Yeah, it's
If
a question of discretion being the better part of valor, I think, more than quitting. It's just we're not going to get anywhere trying
These are
to.
German shoulders, by the way, soldiers.
Well, you're not there, Slim.
Oh, okay. Just for the sake of my notes, I'm.
Yeah.
That's right. You and Pilecki are off in a different direction.
So, can we assess like a good covered approach that under nightfall will be potential ingress?
You can, if you like, you could make inside observation.
Okay.
And from the standpoint of momentum spends, you guys do have two banked momentum from the beginning of the scene, plus anything you might pick up on this. Difficulty one.
Is instincts appropriate focus?
I'll give it to you. Yeah.
Difficulty one?
Yep. Wow. about you?
Hey, nice.
Hot
Bonus
dog.
momentum too. Making
Um,
that momentum, baby.
so the obvious approaches are the obvious approaches are are obvious. And you highly doubt that even under the cover of night you could get through, because as you look over this situation, you see that there's a lot of there are a lot of portable lights on this work site. You imagine they probably are on at night. There's spotlights and that type of thing. However, there are many buildings. Every building pretty much down the whole road leading to the Vatican is boarded up, and this site is sandwiched in between a couple of buildings that are also all boarded up. So, possibility exists that you might be able to make an entrance in on the other side of one of these and approach through a building, if that makes sense.
That's a good idea. Is there any kind of underground access to these buildings?
To the buildings on the street.
Yeah.
Well,
Cellars, window wells. I mean, the classic movie thing is a sewer or an old, the old witch's tunnel that witches used to use back in the day.
yeah, I
That
don't
kind of
think I'm
nonsense.
going to. I don't know that you can tell that from here at this point, based on what information you have.
But judging by the other buildings around, do they have like ground level access?
I'm sorry, you went in and out on me. I didn't catch that.
So judging by, if we look at the nearby buildings, do they have what's an easy way of getting into these buildings without making a lot of noise? Because I assume they're boarded up, so that's going to take something to rip these boards open.
Yeah, uh, some of these buildings are quite large. There's actually there's actually a row of them directly on the northern edge of the work site, and there's another one on the southern side of the work site that are both a large. They're not individual buildings; they're kind of a large run of buildings that share walls. Uh, Very possible that more than likely there's some sort of access on the far side that would be mostly shielded sound wise from the people in the site, if that makes sense.
And what would be involved, like looking at the buildings that we can't see? Are these just plywood sheets nailed to window
Yeah,
frames?
just boards,
All right, so we need some kind of tools, some kind of like
some sort of pry bar probably.
towels or something to quiet the work as much as possible,
Um,
deaden the sound.
so, based on our view of what's going on,
Hmm.
does it appear that some of these buildings, say some of these buildings on the western edge of the work site,
Uh,
running south to north, that are all and they're boarded up, but are some of these buildings does their wall of the building make part of the enclosure?
the one on the northern edge of the work site does.
Okay.
The building to the on the now and uh, that building makes up over half of the northern wall of the enclosure.
Okay.
Okay. The there's a run of buildings on the southern side of the enclosure that run over the whole length of that southern side. However, there is a path about 5 meters wide to pass between the fence and the building.
So saying that could be a good point for us, that building up north there. If we can enter the building, climb to a higher level, and then lower ourselves down on the into the enclosure.
All right, let's go with that. So we'll need some rope too and a way to
Up,
secure it, right?
we'll need some rope. We'll need some climbing tools. So we'll start putting a list together. The there's a really old bridge across the river going to the castle, right? Um, um, I'm looking at a picture,
Yes, there is.
and I think it's called Ponte Sant Angelo. Ponte Sant'Angelo. Um, what do I see on? Is there anybody on the bridge? Are there any vehicles on the bridge?
No, there are not vehicles on the bridge. And I guess I probably handled that wrong because I'm letting you guys ask a lot of questions without
You're
like
right.
burning momentum for information spends or whatnot. So here's what
Well,
I'm gonna do.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
mind doing an observation roll. I just
Why don't you just take some of our momentum off the top,
Yeah, that's what I'm
and we'll
gonna
say
do.
we used it.
I'm just gonna burn one. The bridge, no, the bridge is blocked off at both ends currently. But since you mentioned vehicles, I will tell you there are several Opel trucks parked just outside the work site, pretty much on the castle grounds.
okay. And I was going to get to this anyway. Slim's interjection notwithstanding, because he's not here. I I just
I'm with
assumed,
you
but
always.
I just assumed that the soldiers were Italian. But I'm going to ask, since we have on the note some strange uniforms, does is there any do any of the soldiers stand out?
um, do you want to roll or do you want to just burn a point of momentum for the information?
I'll go ahead and roll.
Okay, inside observation.
Not my strong suit, but what the heck? Eh.
I don't know. They're guys in uniforms. Maybe you just can't see them very well from here. Um,
And just to be clear, that wasn't Slim interjecting. That was the official secretary.
um, you, uh, you, you guys, uh, I'm going to count that roll for something else as well. Sing, go ahead and make an observation roll as well, but it's not for the question that Baker asked. It's for something else.
Dun dun dun.
And
Any applicable focus?
sight, but you're always watching does work as well. Isn't that what it's called?
Okay.
Always watching.
Yes. Okay. So, and then difficulty?
Um, well, normally it'd be a one, but always watching does what? Reduces it by one step.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's difficulty zero then.
Okay.
So as you guys are talking and uh, Baker's looking around and you guys are discussing your possibilities, you do see a you'd see a couple of soldiers that round the corner of the edge of the dig site, the closest corner to you, and they see, one of them looks over and sees the two of you. They say something and they start to head your direction.
Brother, Brother Henry, it's time to don our tourist disguises.
Yes. Um. All right. So we discussed this the last time we were together, the last session, but I can't remember the full discussion. Um, Remind me again, if I want to create a truth, um, what's my cost?
You can do it with two momentum.
Okay, that's what I thought. Two momentum um, would be, I think, the most prudent thing.
I think you can do it with a fortune point as well, but that's obviously a lot more
Yeah,
expensive.
way more expensive. I'd rather use the momentum. So, um, I, if you guys don't mind, since it's group momentum that I would spend, I'd like to create a truth that says I have a German passport with me, um, with my picture on it and the name Heinrich Becker.
Yeah, go for it.
I
Okay.
fully
Cool.
support this.
Sure. We could also we can also burn something to learn Italian eventually, right?
Um,
You know
I
what?
also support this.
I don't think
I
we.
know Kung Fu.
Yeah, I don't think we ever really came to a
Nice
conclusion
reference.
about that.
Right.
we
Um,
didn't.
and I meant to look it up. I want to see if there's any really quickly. Cthulhu. I always miss that extra H.
Nobody said nothing about Cthulhu now.
Wait, what?
What
Who?
are you looking up? Hey, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Come on now.
Disembodied voice from the sky says.
Nothing.
That's right.
The ground shakes. Oh shit. I have
It's
a question I've
fine.
been meaning to ask you this whole time, but I can't. I can't sneak it in edgewise. So when we're done with this, please ask me what it is that I wanted to ask you. Okay, about this encounter when you're ready.
Okay. That's a that's a very vague thing.
I don't want to derail these trains of thoughts that we are piling up on each other. We're doing like two or three things: Italian, the passport, the thing you're checking on with Cthulhu. Now, I'm not going to add a fourth one, but
All right. So it looks like that there is no rule set in the game for learning new languages.
Okay.
It looks like there's a popular house rule where a player can create a truth that they are working to learn a new language, and then whenever they have their next opportunity at the end of a mission, whenever they have their next opportunity, they can spend 5 XP to learn that language. That's a reasonably decent way of handling it.
Yeah, that does sound fair.
Um, five
So
five
I'm
XP
assuming that
makes
if you
sense because everything done in this game is done through amounts of five. So
if you create a truth that says you're learning, trying to learn the new language, does that let you do like pigeon and simple stuff
yeah, I think that's the general going. It
until you learn it? Learn it.
Yeah, exactly. So any interactions you have involving that language are at a higher difficulty, which
Okay.
makes perfect sense.
Well, at the moment, right now, I'm leaning into the. Right now, I'm leaning into the. Um, right now, I'm leaning into the
Right, right, right.
tourist thing, and I'll mention Khan. Uh, yes, you're right. We should be the tourists. Right now, I would like to put on my German persona, so because I think they might be more disposed to a smart talking German than some English speakers. Let's see how it plays.
and I will become my Far East stereotype. Whatever you say, Indy.
So, while they're walking over, Henry's going to kind of get up on his toes a bit and peek and see if and look like he's trying to see the top of the castle.
Okay.
Okay.
Sing will point ostentatiously, like he's trying to help Henry see the thing that's so interesting.
And do we? This is something we aren't keeping clear. Do we literally have the guidebook, or do Slim and Walter have it?
Ooh, who was the last person to have it?
Well,
I think it was Slim.
I think it was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So Slim has it. That's fine.
okay.
All right. Um. So yeah, uh these two guys come over to you. They're both carrying rifles. They have handguns on their hips, and start speaking to you in Italian. At least you assume it's Italian because that's what it sounds like, and you are in Italy after all. They seem to be asking questions or otherwise indicating that you're not where you're supposed to be.
Uh, Henry just raises his hands and asks in German, do you speak German? Do you have any German?
Um, they look at you
Deutsch?
uncomprehendingly.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Yeah, then they look at each other. Something passes between them, and he points off a different direction and says something.
Um,
I'm sorry, did you
which
say he
direction
did he
is he?
walk off?
Is
Did
he
he leave?
pointing? Is he pointing away? Is he pointing away from the castle?
Yes, he's pointing. He's pointing southwest down the banks of the Tiber River, and he's like flicking his he's flicking his hand that direction. He's repeating the same set of words over and over,
Oh, so I will
getting
take.
more insistent.
So I'll take my hands and I'll bring them to my chest, and then I'll make a gesture towards the direction he's pointing. Make it trying to use a universal sign language, not the real sign language, just the touristy. I can't speak your language. That you want me to go that way. I'll even say it in German. You want us to go that way?
Um, he responds with C and something else that you don't understand because I'm pretty sure C is yes in Italian.
All right, Singh will
Okay.
begin to walk off. Oh, okay, okay. Bowing. Yes, yes.
They uh, they watch for a moment as you guys start to head away, and then go back to resuming whatever it was they were doing. Probably walking the perimeter of the site is your guess.
The question that I wanted to ask you earlier
Yeah,
before we leave completely is
sure.
what is the road crew doing in this work site?
Um, so that's okay. Let's yeah, we'll do that. We put it to you this way. There's no road work going on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to count that, if that's all right. I'm going to count that just as a momentum burn, which puts you guys at two. There's no road work going on. And in fact, uh, from what you could tell, it looks like on the far side, uh, blocked off, was a demolished building, a recently demolished building that looked like it had been getting dug out. But there's no actual road work going on.
So they're digging in the ground in the foundations of a old building.
Correct.
Are their walls still standing?
No, they're down.
Okay. How deep are they in there?
Hard to tell because it's below eye level.
They're digging in the wrong place, Cindy.
I knew it was coming.
I am the ruler of the sea.
Yeah, that's right. A British tar is a soaring soul. Okay, sorry. All right, so you guys wander off, do your touristing thing.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to cut over to Slim and Walter Pilecki, if that's good for you guys.
Sure.
Blind
So
man's
That
buff.
works.
the Regina Coeli, the prison, is much further away than the work site that your cohorts went to investigate. Now that being said, it's still not far. It's just a couple kilometers. Uh, just an easy afternoon walk. Um, and the easiest way to get there is just to follow the Tiber because it's on the western bank of the Tiber River. Unless you guys want to come at it from a different direction or have other thoughts.
No, I thought we'd follow
You're
the
just
river. Oh, good.
no, just straight up there, just like
I think Slim has got his nose in the guidebook and is sort of like meandering around. Might even be forgetting that he's supposed to be guiding Pilecki during the ruse, and he's sort of like recounting facts from the guidebook. Uh,
uh,
uh, Walter says here, Rome's first university, La Sapienza, was established in 1303 A.D. What exactly does A.D. mean? And he like nearly bumps into a pole.
well, my dear Slim, AD means after the death of our beloved Creator, our beloved Savior, if you believe in that sort of thing.
Well, I most certainly do, sir. You know what? It certainly does pay to have you smart boys around. I appreciate that. And he tucks the book under his arm and he looks around and he says, "You know where we're at?"
Well, I can't quite see at the moment. Where are
Oh,
we at?
oh shit. Yeah. And he like looks in the guidebook and he's like, I think that's it. And maybe they're a block away from the prison.
So there's
Mm,
the prison, and I mean, it screams institution. It's stone or brick. It's kind of a yellowish. It's kind of an ugly yellowish building. The side of it that faces the Tiber is just a large rectangular edifice with big arched wooden doorways that face the river. The building goes further. The building's obviously much deeper than that, and on the other side probably looks more than just like a rectangular building. But that's what you can see from here. Um,
and there's only one entrance and exit. That's the
oh,
bridge.
well, no. There are the bridge that crosses the river. There's a bridge that crosses the Tiber that is right there at the prison.
Uh-huh.
But no, there's three or four large wooden doors that are set into archways on the build in the building. Two of them have trucks pulled up to them, but the trucks aren't running. There doesn't seem to be anybody around. The From what you can tell, is the prison. You're from you're what you're guesstimating from looking at this. You think you're looking at the actual backside of the prison.
I see.
So
It's. I mean, is it okay if I just Google this so I can get a?
yeah,
Uh,
I recommend that you add prison to your Google search,
okay.
because if you just search the name of it, Google likes to bring up the Catholic prayer itself.
And it is. I'm looking at my notes.
Regina, and it's Coeli.
Coeli. That right there we go. Prison.
Because apparently it hasn't really changed much in 100 years or more.
So the there was a right there at one point. Um, so it's. I mean, it's not like on a far off island, right?
No. It's on the bank of the river. Yeah.
It's on the bank of the river. Okay. What we had something about an island too, right?
Uh, the Tiber Island Hospital was mentioned in the note you guys
Oh,
found.
that's right. The Tiber Island Hospital. Okay. How where's that in relation to this prison?
If you were to continue following the river southeast, it's a couple kilometers away.
Okay, so it's not just adjacent. Okay, so this is just on the, and so I'm guessing it doesn't really look like it's got. Yeah, I mean it's right surrounded by. There is a yeah, there is a fence around it, right? Even back in the day,
Yes.
but it's up close to a lot of buildings
Yes.
next to it, which is good for us. Um, okay, all right. Is there a vantage point, a cafe that would allow us to see what might be the main entrance anywhere near here? Or
Well, that would be on the far side of the building, I guess. If you
Yeah, okay. So we're seeing the flat side, not the,
correct,
yeah, the flat side. But there are three doors here. That doesn't mean that they don't come in through here.
yeah,
Uh, how about if we, is there any, is there anywhere that we can loiter unsuspiciously between the work site and the prison so that we can just kind of be in the area where they're
sure,
walking?
yeah.
Yeah. Is there
Well,
something we
that's
can?
quite a distance, right, between the work site and the prison,
Yeah,
or no?
it's about 2 kilometers. If you follow the Tiber, it's about 2 kilometers.
Sure, sure. So, all right, I guess before we get real close to the prison, Slim turns to Pilecki and he says, "Well, what exactly we looking for here? We're looking for that road crew coming and going."
Yeah, we just want to have we want to take a look at what they look like, what time they come back, and find out their rhythm. We're assuming they're coming back tonight. Maybe they work overnights, but uh, we have to start somewhere.
Sure, sure. Uh, all right, maybe we find a little cafe, get a little grub.
That sounds good to me.
Quick note, singing
Hmm.
Baker. As you guys are walking away from the dig site, where were you guys going to head when you walked away from the dig site?
Well,
Oh,
they
way.
told us they motioned for us to walk southwest, which would be along the river.
Right.
So,
Sorry to interrupt you, Pilecki and
No,
Slim.
we're all good.
No worries.
Good.
so we have to get out of sight of the castle. Once we're out of sight, we hadn't, since you had changed the scene, we hadn't really had a chance to discuss what we were going to do next. Um, well, Khan, do you want to continue down toward the prison?
Sure, why not?
It's that way
All right.
along the river.
Lovely
So
day to take in the sights at the local prison.
that's right. So as you guys are walking down the Tiber River, an Opal truck passes you guys.
Uh-oh.
Um, one of those big canvas covered type jobs that you've seen in all the Indiana Jones movies.
Oh,
And the reason that matters is because Palicki and Slim, it probably took you longer to get down there than it would have taken Khan and Baker to get to the dig site, even with their circuitous path they had to take, just
Okay.
from the standpoint of distance.
Sure.
Um, so, hearing a rumbling sound, you look up the street and there's an Opal truck coming your way. Um, what do you guys want to do?
When you say opal, is that OPAL? Is that how you say it?
OPEL.
OPEL. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. And it's coming
That's
down
roadwork.
the street adjacent to the Tiber, coming south.
correct.
Okay. Um, I guess. And we're what are we closer to the prison or closer to the
Yeah, like you said, you're about a
halfway point?
block away from the prison.
Okay. All right. So Slim nudges Pilecki and he says, "Does that look like a work truck to you?" Oh, oh shit! I forgot. I can't see. I think it looks like a work truck. And he says, "Come on, come on, let's walk this way." And he
Uh-huh.
takes him by the crook of the arm and like
Yeah.
kind of tugs him towards the prison. And Slim's goal is to observe where the truck um, enters the prison.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you guys are just you're kind of walking past the prison, I guess, following the river. Is that the idea? Is that the way I'm seeing that in my head?
So
Yeah,
yeah, the way I saw it, we saw the prison, then we were going to turn back to post up somewhere to observe, but the truck's coming, so now we're headed back towards the prison to see where the truck is headed.
All right. So
where it
as
enters.
as you guys are walking past the prison, the the truck drives by you. and goes to the far door on the far side of the prison facing the river,
Okay.
and kind of executes a 3 point turn to back up to the door. Um, Truck turns off, and two guys get out of it wearing uniforms.
Italian uniforms, we're guessing.
Beat me to it.
Well, you've got two momentum. You guys can spend one for obtain information, or you can make an inside observation roll. Your call.
I'll do the observation rule,
All right.
so I'm pretty good at that.
Inside observation, sight focus. If you have it, difficulty one.
Yep.
Can I attempt to assist her?
Yeah, yeah. You can roll one d20.
Okay.
What? I quit. I should have taken off my sunglasses.
Oh boy.
I can't tell if those are Italian or German. How about you, Slim?
Which
Honestly, Pilecki, I think we're too far down. I can't see shit.
what, what's Slim's target number?
That's a good question. So observation or inside observation,
Yeah.
12.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, you guys don't know.
Mm,
Yeah, you can't
wonderful.
get a good look at him from here.
All right.
Well, come on now, and he picks up the pace.
Palecki says, "You know I'm blind, right?"
Yeah. Come on, where? Which way you going? I'll just let Luco guide me towards Slim.
So I'm hoping we can get within, pretty close to the truck, and then find some reason to slow down, whether that's um, Pilecki fucking around with.
Yeah, I could just have Luco lead me into the front of the truck.
Oh,
Um,
that's funny.
is it behind a fence? Did they go through a fence, or does the wall of the prison just spill out into the street?
And this spot it just spills out into the street.
Oh,
The
interesting.
the
Okay.
two men had gone around to the back of the truck and knocked at the door
Hmm.
as you guys are doing your thing, and the door opens up and they disappear inside. The door shuts behind them.
Yeah, presumably prisoners. You could tell, or no? I'm just
Not sure.
not sure. Can I do a roll for that too?
Um, yeah, you wanna know if what exactly? Say that again.
Well, who's coming out of the back there? Is it? Do they look like prisoners? Do they look
Um,
like?
no, I'll give you that. It looked like probably an institutional guard opened the door and let them in.
Okay, but the people exiting, I was wondering what they look like
Oh, there
if we
was
could see.
nobody exiting the truck. Just the two guys that jumped out of it, out of the front.
So they backed up to the prison and they opened the back door of the truck and nothing happened.
No, no, no. The door to the prison opened up and let them in.
Oh, I see. They jumped out of the They backed up to the door. They jumped out of the truck. The door to the prison opened, and two guards walked into the prison.
You got it.
So
Oh,
essentially, the truck door is flush with the prison door, and
Well, pretty close. There's enough room to open the door and pass
and
by
walk.
it and such. Yeah,
gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
but no, they didn't open the back of the truck, huh?
correct.
So as we approach, Slim smirks. Or there's a wide grin, and he looks over at Pilecki, and he says,
Yeah, I know what he's thinking.
Here it
Pilecki,
comes.
how you feel about taking a ride?
Well, my friend, I don't know if this is the opportune moment. However, we could get closer and maybe let me take a look around. Are there like watchtowers? Is there anybody looking at this? I mean, I can't imagine this is a prison that's just like,
No, there
oh,
the it looks like that on this side, if the side of the building, the watchtowers are actually built into the building itself. If you look up, you see them.
yeah,
There's several of them at the top.
okay. Is the angle is such that the people in those towers can't see what's going on at the
It would be
uh
hard for them to look straight down and see you down at the bottom of the building if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
I mean, Slim, if you feel safe enough, you think we can do this, let's take a look at the what's in the back of that truck.
Well, let's give him a minute.
Okay.
I prefer not to abscond with this vehicle if there are prisoners inside.
If you do abscond with it, can you let Pilecki drive?
Yeah.
That would be very funny. Suddenly, it's an Inspector Clouseau sequence.
We let
That's
Luca
right.
drive. Yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know. I don't. What do you think? I mean, in game here, but kind of discussing this, not looking too suspicious. I mean, this is an opportunity, but do we really want to do something like that?
Well, here's Slim is mischievous, but he's not stupid.
Right.
If they're offloading prisoners and equipment or whatever,
Right.
now it's not the time. But if they
Right.
close the prison door and the truck is outside, and uh, you know
It's
that could be a disguise opportunity.
that it's their bad, right? Um, all right. Is there anywhere near here that we can post up where we're not suspiciously hanging around?
Um, Not really from what I can see of this. I mean, outside of it is right there on the banks of the Tiber River, so there's always people, hanging around, just walking down the river, sightseeing, that type of thing. Though getting late into the afternoon, that's starting to thin out a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we know late afternoon is when the work crew comes back, at the very least.
If it's a work crew,
That's true.
right? We just know it's a truck. And that's why I wanted to stick around for a little bit. Um, I suppose we could just, stand at a distance and you can be looking at the map in the or the guidebook.
Sure.
Why don't we do that for a few minutes just to see what's going on?
Okay. Sounds good. And while we're there, we're looking at the guidebook, looking around, and Slim says, "You think them boys are getting in trouble up there?"
You know it.
I hope Slim's the one looking at the guidebook and not the
Yeah, I
not
hope, yeah,
Pilecki.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And
and
he's showing the dog.
and he says, "I can hear it now. Those boys would shit if I brought back a truck."
I think they would.
All right,
I
all right.
believe they would. I believe they would. I hope you get your chance, Slim.
Well, and he looks around and he's, uh, I, frankly, I think they would urge restraint. And as loath as I am to listen to all your madness, I think perhaps I agree. But we do know the truck's here, should we need it.
That's true.
Let's go get some grub and see if anyone else is coming and going. Can't just be one truck, can it?
I wouldn't think so. Good
So,
idea. Maybe we should just go to someplace that's nearby and see if there's anything else coming into the prison.
all right. So as you guys start to head off, I think at this point you see a a couple of guys coming down the street towards your general direction. Um, One of them looks extremely out of place with his impressive beard, mustache, and turban. Of course, you see Singh and Baker. Something else that
Mhm.
happens is with a squealing of door hinges and a bang, the doors, that big double door to the prison by the truck is opened up and the doors pushed up against the wall, and the two guys driving the truck reappear, and with them are a couple of prison guards and probably six, seven, eight other individuals that are wearing nondescript gray uniforms, just shirts and pants. They look like a filthy, dirty lot, and they are they climb up into the back of the truck.
So they're loading the truck, not dumping him off. So they work at night.
One of the two soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
with with a submachine gun, pulled out, climbs up into the truck after them, and the other guy gets into the front of the truck and starts it up. And then they drive off, heading back up the direct from the direction they came.
Wow, these
Interesting.
fellers, they work late into the night.
Yeah, sun's going down, late afternoon.
So they load up. Yeah, and he looks at his watch and he says, is there a time zone difference here that I need to be aware of? I don't know what time we can deduce it is.
Yeah, what time is it? Like 5?
Yeah, it's like I said, very late afternoon. The sun's on its way to the horizon, and you're in September, so obviously the days are starting to get shorter.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
Pilecki, I think it's happy hour. And as Baker and Singh approach, uh, he says, "Gentlemen, you'll be pleased to know I exercise discretion."
You're rubbing off on the boy, Henry.
I ain't gonna let you down, but I ain't gonna lie. It would have been mighty fun to steal that there truck. Looks like some road crew loading up. They're headed back to wherever y'all was at. Next time, maybe I can jump in, get behind the wheel. We could sneak in like.
Uh, we think we have a different idea for that.
Shit. Well, it better be fun, Baker.
Well, considering your way would require us to drive the truck through a big gate with lots of soldiers with weapons.
Yeah,
Um,
and his.
I think we need to keep a bit lower profile.
But do you have any idea how fun that would be? And he slaps him
For a
back.
moment,
Slim
Well,
cannot wait for the day.
can we get some food while we mull this over?
How do you feel about a little breaking and entering, Slim?
I feel very great about that option.
All right, why don't we do
You have
this,
your
guys? If
chance.
you're good with it, let's take a quick 5 minute break
okay,
because I've had, frankly, a lot of coffee,
Sure.
okay.
and
Sounds good.
we'll come right back.
All right.
I am here as well.
I'm back.
All right, I'm loving these historical facts about the opal. I have to.
Well, maybe.
Uh,
Got your eye on an Opal Blitz.
Hmm.
I learned so much from you guys. It's great.
Yeah, Opals were very popular cars and trucks in Europe for a long time, but I think GM finally sold all that within the last decade, I think.
Hmm.
I think it was shortly after the bailout.
Yeah, that makes sense. Biggest issue I think they had was that with labor laws the way they were in Germany and other European countries, they were just having a heck of a time trying to cut costs and do stuff the right way. You know, the way the US automakers became profitable was with a lot of automation. And in Europe, it's extremely expensive to automate. If you lay a person off,
Yeah.
you have to pay for their retraining, which often includes university.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And in France, you can't lay anybody off unless you go to the labor unions first and get them to agree.
That's very interesting. I never knew any of that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I spent a couple decades being owned by a French company and doing business in France and Germany.
Ah.
Hmm. My Polish um, citizenry just went through, so I gotta get an appointment at the consulate and get a Polish passport. But I'm officially a dual citizen now of Poland and the U.S.
Nice.
And
Congrats,
That's pretty
buddy.
cool.
thanks. Yeah, it was a long process, but pretty easy. And now I've been calling the Polish consulate between 11 and 3 every day, and they don't let you leave a message. You just have to catch a human, and all it does is ring. So, so
Huh.
we'll see when I get a passport. I may have to go to Poland to get the passport. I don't know.
Jesus.
But that gives me EU citizenship. So,
Right.
Online, baby. Online.
yeah, I can. My wife actually, we were talking about this. Things go south in this country. She could actually work in the EU indefinitely as a spouse of a you know EU passport holder.
Well, there you go. You got your whole plan.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm concerned that things might go south for Poland first, but in a different direction.
Yeah.
Because
Well, yeah, no, I'm not saying living in Poland. We would go to like Ireland or
yeah,
France or someplace like that.
calling all Polish citizens, Poland's
Yeah,
decided to just
well, that's
enter
true.
the
Yeah,
war.
get my citizenship just in time for you to get drafted by the Polish army. Oh, that'd be rich.
Yeah, fortunately, I think you're probably beyond the standard age bracket. Um,
Hmm.
you know,
I don't know, man. Your
Oh,
experience, they'd probably take you in a second.
yeah, no shit.
Your
Hey,
experience, they'd be like, yeah, okay, we'll waive the age restriction.
uh,
that's discrimination because of age.
Yeah, right. Well, I hadn't thought of that. Oh man.
yeah, because sorry,
No, one thing.
it's funny because this comes right on the heels of last week. I saw an article that said that British and American intelligence are both very concerned that Poland will actually enter the war on the side of Ukraine, and it's like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
that's I,
yeah. Oh, they fucking hate Russians, the
well,
Poles.
I mean, they were subjugated by the Soviet Union
Hmm.
for 50
Hmm.
years. It's hard to blame them.
Hmm.
Um, that and anyway, we won't get into all that. We all know what
No,
that's all about.
yeah,
But of course, that article broke. I think it was in Forbes, and then there were a whole lot of people in the comments that were like, "Oh no!" And if Poland goes to war with on Ukraine's side against Russia, that pulls in all of NATO. No, no, it doesn't. NATO doesn't activate at that point. NATO only activates if Poland's attacked first.
right.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, if Poland decides to join Ukraine and fight Russia, that's up to them. If
Yeah,
Russia attacks Poland, that's a different situation. So
right.
anyway, enough of that. Back to fiction. Let's go back to fiction yeah, that takes place during a real war. But anyway, enough. So yeah, you guys are all together then. The Opel truck is driving away, you presumably back towards the work site. And yeah, what's the plan, gentlemen?
Well, it's getting very late. Um, I imagine the sun is getting low uh, on the horizon. Why don't we look to get something to eat and go back to the safe house uh, and discuss. I'm sure on the way we can discuss, or at the safe house we can discuss what our next move is.
Sounds good to me. I am in on whatever you guys are talking about, particularly the braking part. But entry works too.
Hmm. Okay. So I guess that's what we'll do is we'll meander back to the safe house.
Yep.
All right. So um, Henry will inform them what we found, that there's barricades and chain link fences around the site.
Okay.
Khan spied where they're doing some excavation. It's a building is no longer there, but it's there's a hole where the foundation was, and they're working in there. Um, and there are soldiers all over the place. There's towers with soldiers in them. It looks like there's plenty of lighting and searchlights. Looks like they're working at night, which dovetails to what you guys said about the truck heading with workers from the prison up that way. So that all makes sense. We think our best way to try and get in there and see what's happening is to uh, enter one of the buildings that's boarded up on that main road, but the wall of the building um, basically is the wall of the enclosure on the northwest side. So if we go in the building and go up several levels, and then find a way, maybe even the roof, and find a way to lower ourselves down, we'll be inside the compound. and we should do that at night, obviously.
I like this idea. What
And
what equipment will we need?
well, we'll obviously need some climbing equipment, which I have.
No
Uh,
kidding.
I do. Turns out one of my goofy skills. Let me look that up. Uh, I'm looking up on my sheet right now. I think I have. Yeah, I have under athletics. I have a focus on climbing. So I have
That's
some
cool.
climbing. I have some climbing tools, um, which would give us a chance to exercise something in the game we haven't done before.
Oh,
All
totally.
right, all right. So aside over, let's get back into the game. So I've got some climbing tools so that we could go in and lower ourselves down. Obviously, we need to stay quiet. It won't do us. Obviously, we should bring. We
Yeah.
should bring. We
Yeah.
should bring. We should bring handguns, but we should try not to use them because if we use them, we'll bring every soldier down on us, and they have rifles. I'm assuming they have some semi-automatic or automatic weapons. So we can't have that, but we have to be quiet. Any of you guys skilled in hand to hand in case it comes up?
Well enough. I can knock a German into next week.
Well, that's good to know because I'm not. I'm not good at hand to hand at all. My weakest, actually.
Well, all four
Um,
of us don't have to go inside.
right. Is there some place near where I could go with Luca and hang out and kind of wait if there's trouble, I can help intervene or distract or something.
How would all right? So we've got tall chain link fence and other barricades around this thing.
I wouldn't know how to know what's going on inside then.
But is there any assistance? Our main infiltration, our main infiltration could be lowering ourselves in from the building, but to leave, there's nothing that says if it's chain link fence. There's nothing that says we can't just cut our way through the fence to leave. Um,
There any vehicles inside?
we didn't see vehicles on. We didn't necessarily see vehicles on the inside. I'm
Well,
assuming there has to be. That truck you saw with prisoners most likely went in through the gates. But if there's a truck inside, we'd have to leave through the gate and make an awful lot of noise.
We will need a variety of hand tools and maybe some towels or blankets or something to deaden the sound of our work.
Well, what I'm wondering is, what is our intention besides seeing what they're doing, which we want? We want to find out what they're doing. Do we have any other goals for this soiree? Sorry to use French. I know we're getting into too many languages here.
I think that's the main important one is to try to get a glimpse as to what's going on. They're obviously pouring a lot of resources and trying very hard to keep things secret, so they don't want us knowing this. So we need to figure that out, I think.
well, these are bad men up to bad man stuff, and I think we should take the opportunity to put a stop to whatever they're doing. Should we get the chance?
Now,
Well, I mean, we
un-
could always shoot a rocket into the work site and run like fuck, but I don't think that's going to be a very good idea. That would
not
disrupt their work.
not
Yeah.
to mention we could kill our agent, and we don't even know what he looks like.
Well, that's
So we
fair.
That is
don't
the
even
thing.
know which of those guys might be our man. So
That is a thing.
it's not like we're going to try and rescue our guy and take him out with us because we don't know which one he is.
Well, he's there because he wants to be there. Remember that too.
Well,
He's there on
maybe
purpose.
he might be. We
I
don't
guess
know
I
for
don't.
sure.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose it's possible that he's being forced to, but I don't know. If we saw the note again, I mean, either way, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really
We
matter.
don't
So,
want to like spring him regardless. So
all
both
right.
of
So
them.
to get out, we if we climb down a rope to get out, we have to climb up a rope, and we need to be prepared for a quicker getaway. If we cut through the fence to get out, um, just to let Walter and Slim know, we were approached. We were standing outside. There were no signs that we could tell or anything that said, "Hey, you're not allowed to stand out here." But we were approached by soldiers who shooed us away, and then they continued to walk what appeared to be the perimeter. I have to assume that they've got some kind of perimeter guards that walk on the outside or the inside. So um, it's not like we can prepare a way in or out by cutting through the fence. That just leaves a hole someone will notice. We'd have to cut to get out. Game mechanics, Hachi.
Mm.
Um, if we were in a hurry and wanted to cut our way through the fence, does that work? Virtually instantaneously, or is there time delay, or what?
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would just consider it an action. Yeah.
Okay, it's an action, so it's okay. So it's just an action.
Yeah.
Um, which means climbing the rope would also be an action if we had to
Correct.
climb out.
Yeah. The difference between those two things is that climbing a rope out, everybody would have to make their own individual climbing roll.
Yeah.
Whereas cutting your way out, one person would have to roll to cut through, and then everybody else could just go. If that makes sense.
Okay. So to cut our way out, we'd need some wire cutters, some pretty good, some decent ones. I've cut through chain link fence before. Um, so another game rule. Um, how do we? I'm assuming these are not bolt cutters. These are a little heftier than normal wire cutters, but to get through a chain link fence. So it's not. Is it a minor item?
Yeah.
And since we didn't necessarily procure those, um, I'm trying to figure out, guys, what are the ideas for getting a hold of some wire cutters? Because I think cutting the chain link fence might be the quickest way out if we have to hurry.
Well, we could gather equipment from the work site itself, like steel tools, and get through. There's no guarantee there's a bolt cutter in there, but
Wire
Can't we
cutter.
just go buy some of these things?
Um, I'm sure we could. We're in a safe house. Maybe there's somebody in the safe house who could point us somewhere
How much
to get
momentum
that
do we have?
tool.
Just asking on in Slim's bag, is everything like stated what's in there, or is it like general military stuff?
actually,
Because
you're right because I do have a mechanics toolkit. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
right,
All right.
so
Oh,
Yeah, I'd
okay.
give you
and
that.
yeah, and then also I don't know about World War II, maybe they weren't, but I Korean above American military bayonets would have a wire cutter feature like that for cutting fences.
oh, cool.
The scabbard and the knife turn into a wire cutter to cut fences in like the modern bayonets. I don't think that it was the case back in World War II
You
though.
know, as much as I know about World War II, I've never come across that fact.
Yeah, no,
Um,
their knives were more like the Sykes Fairbairn,
right.
dagger. They weren't.
Yeah, I
But
used to. My buddy used to have a World War One bayonet, and it was like a huge, it was like a sword with like serration in the
Yes.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I've got mechanics tools, which
Yeah,
I,
we'll call that. We'll say
well,
you that probably has your wire has wire cutters in it.
gotcha. Slim's kind of a wrong tool for the job guy anyway, so I'm thinking,
All right. Little history.
yeah.
A knife that would likely do that job, the K-bar knife, was not adopted by the United States Marine Corps until November 1942 as the 1219 C2 combat knife. All right. So
Hmm.
anyway, you
May I
have,
make a suggestion?
Hmm.
I
How
don't
much
know.
momentum do we have?
Two.
Can we just hand wave this and like create a truth that our contact has delivered us burglary tools and we're good to go?
Well, I mean, Henry's got burglary tools and Slim's got mechanics tools. So I think between
I
the two
think we
of you,
got
I
what
think
we
you're
have.
good. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And I have and I have climbing. I think that, yeah, I think the sneakiest, easiest way in, unless someone, falls off the rope.
We have rope and everything.
I have climbing equipment. Yeah.
That's
And
got rope.
listen,
Okay,
if this goes
we're good.
foobar, I will get us out.
We have
But
electric torches,
No.
like flashlights.
Oh,
They don't have those.
flashlight. Yeah.
Sorry, I used a archaic term.
You did use an archaic term, but
Sorry
which
about that.
well, no,
Well,
that's okay.
mechanics tools traditionally have a light source with them too.
I would think that's a
For-
fair statement.
Yeah.
And as a side note, that was perfectly in tune with your character because even in 1939, an American would have said flashlight, but Singh, being a British Commonwealth citizen, would have probably said electric torch.
Yes, you would have said torch. Um, Now, what we're counting on, we saw lots of lights, spotlights, searchlights, other lighting. So we're counting on the place being lit up decently so that we don't necessarily need flashlights. There will be enough ambient light for us to do our thing.
Well, not
What we
necessarily
have to worry
inside.
about is having too much light.
It's all boarded up inside, so there probably won't
Oh,
be any
inside
light.
the building. Good
Yeah,
point.
and then we should also bring scarves or other, you know, ways of hiding our faces in case we're spotted.
All right, so we're getting this together. And then
Since I'm going to be staying outside with Luca, is there anything we can use for like a huge distraction in case you guys are like running for your lives? Is there? I'm trying to think of something that I could do on the outside to draw attention away from escape if you needed that.
Slim
well,
immediately points to the bag.
exactly, exactly.
There's no
is
chance that Luca will start barking, right? Like sheep
No.
would be stealthy.
is he a
Yeah.
trained attack
Well,
dog?
I'm not going in there with I'm going to stay on the outside, right?
Where
Isn't that fine?
exactly? Is it
Outside is within their cordon. So unless you want to
Outside
stand
of,
way outside the where we're going to be, but that's
is
far.
it? Is
Yeah,
it that far?
it'll be too far to warn us, I think.
I'm
Especially if
thinking
we're
more of
inside the building.
I'm thinking more like as I see you guys running from the building, being chased by a bunch of Nazis, that I could do something to assist with that escape. That kind of you know what I'm saying?
what do you think about us procuring a vehicle for a getaway if we if we need it?
We could identify one nearby that we can like go, okay, we're going to use this one.
And you can prep it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying if you're remaining outside, and you need a place
But
to.
there's outside and then there's outside, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
where we were
Right,
is like the last quote unquote legal, like that's like the allowed frontier. You can't get any closer than that.
right.
But that's too far to do anything.
So are you
Okay.
saying that the dig site is like what, like a quarter mile away from the
I mean, that's
nearest,
kind of how I imagined it, but Marty would have to.
Say that again. The dig site is
like quarter mile away from the outer perimeter fence?
not even. No,
So,
it's very nearby.
Oh,
so
that's
I
good. So when we're inside, can we hear him?
I'm more what I don't want to do is have all of us in there and then we all suffer whatever happens. I want to be able to facilitate something on the outside, whether it's a distraction, whether it's a way to cut through a new piece of fence for you guys to like run through, or that sort of thing, just to assist in the escape if it goes south.
Well,
Well, the dig site itself, again to kind of go over this, the dig site it's or not the dig site. I'm sorry. The work site, the fence encased work site, is not very big. It is almost 40 meters long and almost 30 meters wide. Okay, so it's not like if you're envisioning like this giant prison camp type thing. It's not that big. Um, uh, the what you guys determined to be the dig site, the demolished building where they were doing some sort of work down into it's somewhere deep into the foundations where you couldn't really tell, is only literally 10, 20 meters away from the northwest corner of the uh, fence encased area.
Okay.
So,
And is there any place that I can be not suspiciously hanging out in that area,
well,
or
I mean, there's the again there's a building to the north of the fence wrapped area which makes up part of the wall basically. So if you guys were to go in through that building, theoretically you'd be able to, on the second floor of that building, you'd be able to look down into the fenced off area, and then off to the other side you would be able to see the where they're working, the actual work site.
does it look like an apartment building, or is it like an office building, or
Well, the building that's fenced off,
no, the
or
one
the
that
building that's closed off, that's part of the wall.
the
Um,
part that you were just
yeah, yeah,
describing?
yeah, yeah.
um,
It's who knows,
just
nondescript 100-year-old
nondescript.
building. Yeah.
Okay.
most of
um
the buildings in this area, most of the buildings in this area are between 2 and 4 stories, I think.
all right.
This one particular is 2 stories.
Okay. Um, and then, so here's what I'm trying to put together in my head then. Um, I don't think, since we just want to see what's going on there and collect intelligence, I don't think we need everybody. Next, game mechanics. My climbing tools are like a kit. They have a certain number of uses. Is that correct or
Correct. They
not?
they have
Yes.
three uses. They will reduce the cost of any climbing roll by one difficulty.
Okay. So if you guys look at your character sheets, my guy is going to, it's going to be, my guy is going to use agility or coordination. They're both the same. Probably agility and athletics, and a focus in climbing. What do you guys look like? If you look at your agility or coordination and look at your athletics, what kind of numbers do you guys have? And not Walter. Walter's not coming.
I am
So
Oh, he
agility
said, he
8,
said all four
coordination
don't
10.
need to come. All right, coordination 10.
Yep.
And your athletics score?
Athletics is a 2. So
Oh,
I'm a
good.
12.
That's good.
Yeah.
And
King
Con?
is coordination 8, athletics 0,
And what about agility?
agility is 7.
Hmm.
Oof. All right, so maybe you should come down the rope last so we can catch you in case you fall.
Not a bad idea.
The only reason we need 3, remember, with 3, we increase the chance of being seen. And I have urban stealth, which helps me. We increase the chance of being seen, but it also gives us more firepower to get out. And now that leads to my next thing. You guys with spells, we talked about if we had to beat feet and get out, what could Walter do? Is there something Walter could do to help us? Um, let's say that let's say Slim and I go in, and Con and Walter get ready to help us escape if we get into some deep doo doo. What kind of spells do you guys have that might dissuade people from following us or distract them or something?
Yeah, nothing from me. I just have my remote viewing.
So a
Okay.
couple ideas. Well, first of all, Khan may not be a good climber, but he's an expert lookout. So it would be good to have him, if he's not going, just have him somewhere close by with his always watching, so he
Yes,
can
I like
like,
that.
watch you guys and warn you of danger. And then, we don't necessarily, I don't think we need magic to create like a massive diversion. We can make like a little Molotov mini petrol bomb, start a fire in one of these abandoned buildings. No innocent people will get killed and they'll have to deal with it. Um, if it's across the street, even better, right? Because they'll have to go left while we go right.
Okay.
Just saying, if the shit hits the fan, drop a little petrol bomb, run like
Hmm.
crazy.
We don't have any like explosives in that bag of Slims, do we?
Only the bazooka.
Yeah, tempting, but much too
Only the
blunt.
bazooka. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, if we
Okay.
if we plan a distraction fire, we can make it look like, you know, we could bring a couple empty wine bottles and some cigarette butts, throw them on the ground, start a fire, as opposed to like if I blow something up with the
Yeah.
spear of Indra, right? They're going to be like, "What the hell
Oh,
was that?"
do you have that spell?
I have the spear of Indra, which is like basically like magic missile kind of a thing.
Uh,
The Dharma sign, which is like a anti. It's a banishment spell, so it's anti
That's
monsters.
specifically for use on like mythos creatures, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And then I have like a healing spell called the Bounties of Ushas.
okay. I wonder if that. I wonder if that magic missile could blow open the gate or the wire fence in case they come running quickly and don't have time to climb it.
Oh, I'm sure it could.
Okay.
It
Okay.
It can be very
So let me.
powerful. It also can be very
All right.
costly.
So we
So let
we
me.
do we've got I think we have the tools to be able to help them escape and warn or distract, and they
All
get
right. So
captured. We'll have to rescue them.
all right. So let me ask again. The the climbing equipment is like a kit, so it lowers the difficulty to zero. Is that correct?
It
Or by
lowers the
one?
difficulty of any task, any climbing task by one.
Okay. And so, what would be the difficulty of lowering ourselves down from the roof of the two-story building?
Yeah, that would be a one. Yeah.
Okay, so it would make a zero. So the only thing we really worry about when someone makes their roll is a complication.
Yeah, either that or you can just auto succeed. Of course, rolling gives you the opportunity for momentum.
And momentum gives us possibilities. All right, so the fact is, if three of us go in and use the equipment, we can all use the equipment and get in, and then that equipment is done. It's used up, but we're in. And I really like Khan's observer capabilities. They're going to be really important as we move through this place. But getting out, if I remember the map and what we discussed, what we saw is that the northwest part has a building that's part of the wall, but to get to fence that we can cut through, we got to find the best place to get out. It looks like it, well, we have to go either north a bit from the place we came in. We can always try and climb back up the rope, but if we want to just cut our way out and get out, we have to go north a little bit or south a little bit to get to fence. All right. Um, so, and Slim, we'll use Slim's what is it? Engineering kit or engineering tools?
It's mechanics toolkit.
Mechanics toolkit. We
Yes.
use the mechanics toolkit to cut the fence. Uh, so, what do you guys think? The three of us go in. We use the mechanics cool toolkit to cut the fence and get out. And if we need a distraction, Walter can set something on fire or something. Um, what kind of talents or skills does your dog have? Is he a trained attack dog?
Sorry, I had to mute. Yeah, I mean he's pretty good as an NPC. Basically, we haven't sat down and defined his skills, but
Okay.
hold on a second here. He does have like a pretty nasty bite. So yeah, his agility is 11, coordination is only 5, brawn is 9. He's got great insight at 10. He his bite is agility plus fighting is a 3.
Coordination 5. That's hilarious.
Yeah, all right.
An attack dog, that's like coordination 13.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
okay, so I guess what I'm aiming at is if these guys are running um, if these guys are walking the fence lines, they're doing surveillance on the fence lines and walking around. Um, your dog is very likely to give you some kind of warning if they're coming near, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's specifically it. Yeah, it can do that.
So that would just allow you, if somebody's coming near, that would allow you to get out of sight. Okay.
Right, but we're gonna. I didn't know exactly where we're gonna station ourselves, but we'll either be
We
somewhere
haven't figured that out yet.
we could either be in the shadows, or if there's someplace that's not suspicious, we could be somewhere there. But I mean, honestly, I have in my head a ruse of, here I am, I can't see anything. I got my guide dog, and I'm kind of lost, so I'm sitting there with my friend trying to figure out where to go or something like that. I mean, it's people usually with blind people, they give them the benefit of the doubt, I would think. So might be able to pull that off. Plus, Khan's got you've got pretty good persuasion, or which one do you have? You have don't you have persuasion with deceive?
That's correct.
Right. So we can make up a story and pull it off if we're, somebody goes, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?"
Marty, I'll make a couple of Molotovs using old whatever Italian liquor bottles are around.
It should be
And I'll make sure that they're capped, right? So that we keep the rags like separate. So we'll just use our handkerchiefs to stuff into them if we need. And so
Hey,
that
my
way
girlfriend gave that to me.
it's going to a higher purpose, Henry. Your girlfriend will forgive you. Um, yeah, so we'll this way we can pretend that we're just run of the mill alcoholics out for a midnight uh, sauce up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, brown paper
Like,
bag.
yeah. What are you doing out here? Nothing. What are you doing? Um, and then we'll make sure that each one of us has a lighter,
all right.
and that'll be that. I'll give one to Walter, and I'll keep another on me. As Henry mentioned, try to get a nice brown paper bag in case I have to pretend to be half drunk.
All right. So let's discuss this one more time. Do we want Khan? Slim and I are gonna go in. Do we want Khan to come with us, or do we want Khan um to watch outside for our point of egress with Walter, or what do we want to do with that when we go in?
I think 2 in and 2 out.
Okay.
Well, the problem is, you already have somebody covering the lookout position from outside, but you have nobody near the building.
Right.
So I think it'd almost be better if I went
Okay.
Right.
and stayed closer to you.
Oh, right, but not okay. Yeah.
Not necessarily with us, but um all right. Just be aware we did see soldiers walking the perimeter. We have to assume that there would be guys walking the perimeter. So, you know, watch your P's and Q's.
Yeah, I'll have to secret myself somehow in the darkness.
All right. Well, it's about as half baked a plan as we can bake.
Hmm.
Wait, Henry Baker baked a half-baked plan?
Oh,
Heinrich Becker.
oh no.
How
That's
many
like having
pickled
Sing
peppers
sing
can
a
Peter
song
Piper
of
pick?
Sing a
Sing
song.
will sing a song of singing. I lost it. I had
How
it.
many
I
pickled
lost it.
how many pickled peppers can Peter Piper pick? How much wood can a woodchuck chuck? Hey, a wood. I found that. I found the interesting thing about
You
woodchucks.
know, one day I'm gonna punish you all, and I'm gonna run a D&D game where you all have to play bards.
Oh
Oh
gosh.
God, no!
Well,
The
that
worst
happens to
thing
be
ever.
Kyle's favorite character, so
Oh
I
God!
would love to do that.
It's like you knew that bards are my least favorite class when you said that.
I had a feeling.
Oh God! Just thinking about that's giving me a stroke.
I
There'll be a lot of sex though with random monsters. That's
That's oh yeah,
oh
no
God,
doubt.
my
I,
eyes are rolling so hard.
I
I had a friend who played chaotic evil characters, and he had a standing rule that whenever he came across a bard under any situation, he just attacked until it was dead.
And the world was a better place.
that's right. That's right.
that's almost like an oath of vengeance for kill the bard, kill the bard.
That's okay. If we ever play my D&D campaign, which by the way requires me to write more than the first adventure, um, part of my problem is I have no time. The other part of my problem is I'm not really in tune with 5e as much as a lot of other people. But I do have a recurring character NPC that's a bard that I actually am having a lot of fun with, which is ridiculous because I despise bards with a passion. But anyway.
Okay, let me ask the more important question. It's 12:19 Eastern Daylight Time.
Yep.
How are we for time?
Well, I'm gonna have to. I'd have a hard cutoff at least in a half an hour because I got to get to work. But
Yep. I have a okay. Well, then let's try and get there because I have a nice stopping point I have in mind that you guys are closing in on.
Okay.
okay,
All right. Let's do our due diligence. Um, Khan's going to put together some Molotov cocktails, maybe some old wine bottles and paper
I think that's done.
bags.
I think we
That
did that right.
Yeah,
We're
you're
good
good.
at that.
so we got those made. I've got my climbing tools. I've got a knife. I've got a handgun. I got my service revolver. I guess Slim, you've got a revolver. Do you have anything quiet?
just my swinging cad.
Oh,
Uh,
that's pretty quiet, I bet. Um,
Damn.
well, shit, Baker. I got my 1911, and you know,
all right,
uh, well,
try
silence really isn't my thing.
try not to use it if you don't have to. All right, are we ready?
You want me to bring some of the heavy accessories just in
Not on
case?
this trip.
All right, I'm going to remind you of that when the time comes.
Remember, we saw a lot of soldiers, guard towers, soldiers milling about. If we make a lot of noise, it's going to be bad.
He
Okay.
nods. We'll
All
lead
right.
the way, sir.
All right. So
So to move this forward, the plan is you guys want to make your way into the building that makes up part of the northern edge of the work site, correct?
yeah, that
Of the
northeast
work
corner.
camp, I should say. All right. So what we're going to do, And obviously, you're doing this at night. You're being surreptitious. Um,
Yeah.
so Baker, we're going to have Baker make a group stealth roll because I think we determined he has the best stealth. Correct?
Um, yeah, because I've got whether it's agility or coordination doesn't matter. I've got a 10 plus stealth is 3 is 13 plus I have urban stealth,
Yep.
which is a focus.
So
Okay.
make that roll agility plus stealth, difficulty one. Urban focus does apply. Urban stealth focus does apply.
Okay. Let me
Are you
check
wanting
real
you wanting the
fast.
same roll from me, or you?
No, no. Baker only makes the roll. The way group stealth works is you have the person with the best stealth make the roll, but the
Awesome.
complication range is increased for each person in the group.
Gotcha.
All right. So that that and difficulty 1 or 2 or what?
Difficulty one.
All right. Good start.
All right, good start. And then to break into the building. Um, what the heck? Sorry, random text. And I'm just kind of moving through it a little bit. To break into the building, we're going to use the standard. Um, I could see you using either brawn or coordination with engineering, mechanical engineering as a focus if you have it, and you can use your burglary tools. You can use a use of those to drop the difficulty to zero if you want,
Okay, brawn or what?
or coordination, either way.
All right. Well, if I use the burglary tools, that lowers the difficulty to 0. That's an auto
It's
success.
an auto success, or you can roll if you want the momentum.
All right. We might need the momentum. We have
One.
1. So coordination plus engineering. Let's give it a
I could
try.
help metagame that if you want me to do a always watching roll first. Might get some more momentum. Of course, I might fail horribly and give us complications, but if I succeed, we'll get some extra momentum.
Um.
I mean,
um,
it would make sense. You guys are
yeah.
sneaking in there. You're trying to break in quietly. So it would make sense that Khan is looking around, keeping an eye on things.
Yeah. If,
So yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't really view it that much as metagaming from the standpoint of this is what your group would be doing. So you
Well, I
can
never do it just to get momentum points. I always do it because there's some reason. So I guess in this
absolutely,
case, there is a reason.
absolutely. So inside observation with your focus, difficulty zero.
Got us one.
Yep. All right.
Okay,
Are we in the clear?
Yep.
and I rolled and got 2 bonus.
Yep.
Um,
Got it.
so
So you're
we've
at the
got
four.
and we're in the building.
Yep. So you guys quietly and quickly make your way towards this building. Looking around, you pick an opportune moment to get in through a back door. The building inside is mostly empty, some dilapidated furniture, dust. No one's used this building in quite a while. Um, some quick looking around, you find a staircase that moves up to the second floor. As you're heading up to that second floor, because that's where you want to be, right? You want it to
Right.
be above. So, as you're
right.
heading up to the second floor, um, I would like insight observation with a focus in hearing, if you have it.
Both of us, or just one?
Um,
Am I
well,
with you guys also?
all four of you are going to this part of
Yeah,
it, correct?
we're all together on this part.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So everybody can make the roll.
Okay. Difficulty one.
Difficulty 1.
Okay.
Slim hears it.
Yeah, boy.
The dog hears it.
No chimes for any of these, by the way.
No, I'm noticing that.
I'm getting chimes.
Oh, are you?
Are you? Maybe
Yeah.
our settings are like reset or something weird.
It's VIP only, I guess.
Con Baker
Yep.
Slim. All right.
You buy like the pro version, you get all the chimes.
So, Palecki's dog kind of tilts its head a little bit because the dog's with you, right? Yeah.
Aroo?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it, Scoots? What is it, Scoots?
That's right.
Bro.
And his ears perk a little bit as you all he hears it first, but you all actually hear the sound of gunfire. It's not nearby. It sounds like it's a good distance away.
Is it the
Um,
direction of the prison, perchance?
I would say that you think it is in the general vicinity, but you're not exactly sure where. But it's quite a bit of gunfire.
Somebody's
Wow.
firing downstairs.
Unexpected.
That would be so. It's quite a bit ways away. It's loud. It's there's a lot of it, and it's south of us.
Um, well, you know what?
Or you can't. Somebody asked if it was down towards the prison. I
Yeah, what I would say in terms of the direction is you don't know.
don't know.
But
Okay.
if you wanted to spend a point of momentum for the obtain information, I would answer that for you.
Um,
You're at 5.
I don't think that. Yeah. Does it really matter, you guys? Um,
Not really.
maybe what we ought to do is we want to get to the windows are like any windows are likely boarded up. It's pretty dark in here. We were going to get on the roof. Maybe if we hustle up on the roof, we could look out and see if we can see anything.
The problem is they're all going to be on heightened alert now. So a wise person would immediately retreat from this, right? Because the jig is up already. We didn't do it, but the jig is up.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying that's what we should do because that's boring. But
if it if it's
that's
happening, but if it's happening outside the enclosure, maybe it will pull some soldiers away from here.
mm, I don't know. I would think that that would just make them super
Well,
defensive.
doesn't hurt to look, does it? Doesn't hurt to go up on the roof and look.
Well, let's
Except
take a look.
they'll be scanning everywhere, is what I'm saying, right? Like a minute ago, they were just like, "Oh, this is just another boring night," and now they're under attack. Even though it's not happening here, that's how a military person's going to take this. They're under attack, so they're on height. They're going to be on heightened alert. There might
Oh,
even
okay.
be reinforcements, and I mean, it's basically it's over. Like for any kind of stealth, we're safe where we are now, but they're probably going to heighten patrols. They're going to bring in vehicles. They're going to. That's what I would do.
Okay.
If
All
there's
right.
been a shooting anywhere near this super secret dig site.
Well, golly, three
We don't know
minutes
how.
in,
All
and
right.
it would be nice to
Spend
have some firepower.
spend the momentum and ask the question then where the gunshots are from. If you can tell where the gunshots are.
Well, if we're leaving, I guess it doesn't matter because we can always come back
I'm not
tomorrow
leaving.
night.
I'm going up on the roof and I'm going in the compound.
Hell yeah!
Ill advised, but okay. Interesting, but ill advised.
No, all I'm saying is spend the one momentum and ask the question so that we at least know if it's near or far.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, we earned a few momentum just now. So
You were at 5, so if you want to drop to 4 and spend it, that's fine. I mean, in that, so that's a yes.
All right. Let me use the momentum and ask that question. Is were the gunshots near or far and approximate? Well, that's two questions, but
Well,
what, what do we know about
in
the
terms of
proximity of the gunshots?
in terms of direction, uh, so where you are in the building, the the camp is directly south of you, right? Because the building makes up part of the northern wall of the camp.
Correct.
The gunshots are coming from. It's a little hard to tell, being that you're in a boarded up building, but you would say they're coming from the west, which is the direction of the dig site, because the dig site was about was 10-20 meters northwest of the enclosure. So the it's coming from the west. It's coming from the direction of the dig site.
Oh.
I'm a little bit confused, Marty. I'm sorry. I
That's
I
okay.
thought we were really close to the dig site.
You are. You are. It's not far. It's
Oh, okay.
10-20
So
meters.
okay,
It's,
for some
it's in
reason
the
I thought
direction of the dig site, but at a farther distance, right?
The gunshots sound they sound strange. They're muffled and echoey is the best way to put it.
They might be in the dig site then.
so do
If
you
they're in
think
a
it's
You
tunnel,
know,
possible that Pellegrino or whatever his name is like up to his tits in hand-to-hand combat right now? Maybe we
Yes,
should
or
help him?
making a break. Maybe he's making a break for it.
That's a ballsy bastard, man. Let's
Um,
can we let's maybe see, yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna. Do I see a stairway up to the roof?
yeah, yeah. I'm sure there's some sort of access to the
All right.
roof. Yeah.
I'm gonna run up on top of the roof, and I'm not gonna stand up there with a flashlight and wave it over my
Hey,
head
look
and
at
yell
me!
and
Look at
scream.
me!
But I'm gonna go up on the roof and see if I can peek over the edge. There's
Yeah, I
probably
got
a
you. So as
probably
you're
some kind of balustrade or something.
yeah as you're climbing up those steps, it's kind of a it's kind of a barred hatch above you, and as you're getting up to it, the gunshots stop, and then there's one or two more, just some quick like afterthought shots, the bang bang, bang, and then that's it. It's quiet. As
Too
you
quiet.
as you as you open up and look, um, there's lights on all over the work site, the work camp, uh, and the two towers have that the at the main gate into the work camp through the fence have spotlights. One shining down in front of the gate, which is closed. The other is shining in the direction of the dig site. There's an Opel truck that is driving around the southern edge of the fence. Um, it's
Inside or outside?
outside
Okay.
between the fence and the southern building, and as you watch, it goes past the site, and then turns up toward the campsite, and then turns up towards the dig site. Um, Looking over at the dig site, you see probably a dozen disheveled people in dirty gray, uniforms like the people that got loaded up into the truck. And there's a solid, um, there's at least 10 soldiers standing around with rifles and submachine guns leveled. Some have them leveled at the workers. Some have them leveled the at what is clearly a dug tunnel or an opened up tunnel. But uh, you hear a shouted voice, and a soldier comes out of the tunnel. As you continue to watch, he stands to the side, shouts something back into the tunnel, and he's waving his arm in this, the universal "come on" type gesture. And several more soldiers appear out of the tunnel. There's a bunch of them. Four of them are carrying. There's okay, hold on. Let me start over. There's a whole bunch of them, but you see two carrying a large, heavy bundle between them that has a canvas or a tarp draped over it. And then another pair of soldiers carrying something similar come behind them as the truck backs up to as close as it can get to the dig site. And the uh, the soldier that first appeared out of the tunnel is pointing at the truck and he's shouting something.
Okay. Did you other guys follow me up onto the roof?
Uh,
I
Probably
just want
not.
to know. I
I
just
think
want
you
to
were
know if
stealth
anyone
after.
saw this with me, or if I have to relate the whole story.
I,
Singh did not because his stealth is shit.
Okay.
yeah, you're the stealth guy. I think you probably would relate this to the team.
All right.
Hmm.
I'm going to stick my head through the hatch and tell the guys what I just saw, and it would seem to me that all the shooting was at these two, whatever it is they're carrying, which makes me think of the note that said the bodies from the site are taken to the Tiber Island Hospital.
And I should say, Baker, make an insight observation roll
Gotcha.
with a hearing focus.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Okay, that's fine. Then just insight observation. Difficulty 1. And you guys do have 4 momentum from the standpoint of information spends as well.
So
Success?
if I use one,
Oh no, that was. I'm sorry, that was an old roll. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah,
Continue.
if I use one momentum, do I get can I get an extra die? Is that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'll do.
All right. So that puts you guys at 3.
So let me cancel that and start over again. Insight, observation.
And no one in the camp is obviously there's a I should have told you there's also there's a bustle of activity in the camp itself. There's a number of soldiers moving around, but no one's paying any attention your direction.
Right. And so difficulty one,
Yeah,
did you say?
correct. Oh wow! All right, 3 successes, 2 bonus momentum. You guys are at 5 momentum.
Wow.
Um, the man who is clearly giving the orders. Um, as you listen to him shouting, you realize he's speaking German,
Ah, nice.
and
Oh, good for me.
he's saying, "Get those loaded up and take them to the hospital." And then he points back at the other soldiers and says, and or points back at the people in gray, obviously the workers, and says to the other soldiers, "And get them back to work." You
All right,
guys
gentlemen.
You guys have 5 momentum if you want to do a quick information spend before we close this up. If there's anything you want to ask about the situation.
Any ideas, guys?
Uh, no, not. I mean, Slim's just eager to get in and get closer and poke around.
I'm unclear as to if they were shooting at prisoners inside the tunnel or shooting at something else.
Um, I think they were shooting at something else, but we can ask that question. I think the question would relate to something I saw. So um, it's one momentum for more information.
Yeah. Yeah, to ask a
All right.
question for more
So I'll
information.
spend the momentum and I'll ask,
Now,
do
wait a
the
second. I've got my one of my skills is detailed analysis, so I don't know that I would necessarily have to have seen all this going down, just have it described maybe, but it says that for 2 momentum I can ask 3 questions about the scene.
okay. Well, I was going to
Does
ask
that
one
apply,
simple.
or I wonder if is that valid for this
Well,
situation maybe
ask
because
Hachi.
it's cheaper than one per question.
Yeah,
Well, I was
yeah, I mean,
okay.
I'd give it to you.
All right. So
I
you're
was going to ask. I was going to ask one simple question that relates to. Well, I saw it. I saw the thing. So maybe one of your questions I can answer because I saw it. So one of the questions, um, one of the questions that I'd like asked is the guys were there were two men on each of the two covered bundle things. Okay. Uh, were they bigger or smaller than a man?
All right. I'll come back to answer that in just a moment.
Well,
Or
well,
do
I,
you have a question that's going to depend on the answer to that?
no. I'm asking. I, I don't want to metagame. The question. Um, we the things we saw are covered with. You said they were covered with something like
Yeah, a sheet or a tarp or something.
a sheet or a tarp or something. So I couldn't see directly what it was, other than if a guy's carrying each end, which is the impression I got from your description, then the thing is whatever they're carrying is kind of longish. So I'm thinking immediately to the comment from the note about bodies being from the site being taken to the island hospital, and I'll relate to these guys that I just heard in German the them tell the guys to take those to the hospital. So I've put two and two together and assume they're bodies. Now let's hear Khan, if you use your is it a talent or is it a spell or what is it?
well. It was mine. Mine was detailed analysis.
Oh,
So
Walter.
it
All
just
right,
says
so
you have.
detailed analysis. So ask your questions.
So it. You're right. So for two momentum, we get to ask three questions. So I guess the first question would be: are those tarps this sized as if there's a human body wrapped up in them?
Okay. That's one question. What would
Okay.
be the other two?
Second question
Quick
is: are
interjection. Does it matter how he asks? Can he just say, "Are there bodies in there,
Um,
or are
I'm
the
a,
bodies guards or
I'm
workers?"
allowed to control the amount of release. I'm allowed to control the
yeah.
release of the information
Okay, so
during
he
a
doesn't
session.
have to. It's not like he's making a wish spell in D&D where he has to have
Right,
like
right,
three
Correct.
words.
right. That's why I'm trying to be logical about it in one each. And
Roger that.
is there are the tarps soiled with anything that might look like blood or any kind of dark liquid?
Okay.
And then the third question would be how many total workers, what's the ratio of workers to guards that we saw?
You see about so I'll answer these in kind of a different order. There's about a half dozen workers that are down in the actual dig site. There's another half dozen or so that are standing at attention in the campsite. Okay. There are a total of a, total of 13 soldiers down at the dig site. Five that came out of the tunnels and eight that are there, that were apparently there outside. There are another total of seven soldiers around the rest of the enclosed area, including the ones in the towers.
Oof. Okay.
Um, so 20 in total.
Yeah, so 20 to
Um,
okay.
as far as the question about the bundles and whatnot, um, your initial impression is that they are the size of bodies, but they seem larger than they should be. And the way the tarps or whatever hang about them, something about it just kind of gives you the creeps. There's an unnatural shape there.
Hmm.
Um, and yes, the tarps or what have you, the canvas, whatever, is is stained or what have you, but not blood. Uh, Something black. There's splotches of black liquid on them,
Okay, that's helpful.
and that is the stopping point.
Okay,
Cool.
nice. I'll give us something to chew on for 2 weeks.
Black eye core.
Yeah,
Well, I guess 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah,
3 weeks.
yeah. May 9th. Because next week I'm out, and the week after that Kyle's out. So yeah, we'll just have to go for May 9th.
Awesome.
Okay.
But and I've been a little lax at putting this stuff on YouTube in a timely manner. Last week's just got up on YouTube. Well, this morning. Um, so, but I'll try to get that up here in the next day or so, just so that you guys have it if you need to refer back to it or anything like that.
Okay, sounds
Cool.
good.
All right, cool,
I will have my notes up within the week.
awesome.
So
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
playing,
playing,
guys.
Thank you.
All right, thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone.
Well done, guys.
Oh, and I look forward to seeing what's showing up. I'm excited.
Excellent. And hopefully you'll be able to make it back to the games after you open it.
All right,
Good
very
luck.
cool.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.
see you guys.
Bye.